between the radical speech, of some of the Moors, and then, some people who are, whatever type of Islam that you follow, have been kind of into some heated discussions about Ramadan. And what I wanted to do, along with some of the other scholars here, we discuss it, discussing the Ramadan, the people, the participation of it, the prayers, all of those things, and we're going to attach it truthfully to the Holy Koran, the Moorish Science Temple of America, and what the Prophet brought. Because again, this needs to be something that should be discussed. Because again, as if you have new Moors coming in who don't know if it ties into it, or what the Prophet brought, if he didn't bring it, are we supposed to do it? Do we not do it? Or so many different questions. I've gotten those questions quite a bit this week. As Moors, do we partake in the month of Ramadan for the fasting? So, and as I explained it to him, you can or you cannot. You will or you won't. It's really simple, because again, salvation is personal. Salvation is definitely personal. If this is something that you feel you don't need for your salvation, or at this moment or at this time, you don't feel you're strong enough, or you didn't prepare, whatever your reasons may be, it's okay. So for those of us who do practice, the fasting for Ramadan, it's very important that we be gentle with the information that we have, and then making sure that everything that we are telling the people or explaining to the people is accurate. Because that's the thing, the accuracy of what we're speaking about concerning Ramadan is very important, because it is not a so-called Arab tradition or an Arab custom. Actually, Ramadan predates Islam. So again, we have to go that far into seeing where it came from, but just everything about it that we can associate with, with the writings and the instructions of the Prophet. Because again, the month of Ramadan is the 10th month. So here in America, the 10th month is October, and we fast in October. It's symbolic. It's definitely symbolic of the same thing. Again, I'm gonna just allow whoever wants to kind of give a demonstration on what they know of Ramadan. And brother, since you've been a Muslim a very, very long time, we definitely want to hear. We definitely want to hear your thoughts, okay, and everything when you are ready.
So somebody else can go first. I'll just.
Yeah. I'm not putting you on the spot right now,
okay,
for you to go ahead and give your measure now. Okay. But we definitely want to hear it, and try to work this out, because it's a conversation that definitely needs to be had, and it should be taught in a Quran class or a Sunday school. If not nothing else, just to know of the different fasting opportunities that we do have, because it's still an opportunity to fast, an opportunity to gain discipline. That's what it's all about.
Okay, if I want to say, get my part of it now, if you don't mind, it'll be real quick and simple.
Okay, Islam.
Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum everybody, Islam Moors and Mobitis. Well, I've been fasting for about 20 years in the Muslim community, during the holy month of Ramadan. And Ramadan basically is a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah the Most High, the Most Great, to give you a chance to draw closer to Him, you know what I'm saying? And to tie yourself into the spiritual aspect of burning away the sins. Because the word Ramadan, the word Ramadan means to burn, you know what I'm saying? Because in extreme heat, because in the desert, I'm saying, walking on hot rocks and things like that, the whole concept of you in that environment and dealing with the burning and the heat, which was what the word Ramadan mean, and at the same time in those times, the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him, and his pure family, they adopted the fasting from the people that came before him. So all the prophets and messengers that came before Muhammad were Muslims. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is he adopted those characteristics or those rituals from the people that came before him. So and Islam is the beginning. So all of that ties into the same thing, which is to worship Allah. You know what I'm saying? And the fasting, and like the sister, like brother Arnel Bay, I was talking to him this morning about the fast. He said even in the Moorish Scientific America, they have, I think he said 4 fasts for 30 days or more.
Yeah, they're all in the book.
And he talked about that, so I was like, wow. And so basically, as the Muslim, this is our mannerisms, our culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when the rest of the world is eating and drinking and doing whatever, we abstain from that for the sake and pleasure of Allah alone. And you can fast and break your fast just by cursing or having ill thoughts. It's not about the food, it's about restraining everything that you used to do, even if it's something later, brother. I mean Islam, bro. Even if it's eating or drinking water, you're not going to drink that water. You're not going to eat that water. Why? Because Allah is a way to abstain for the sake and pleasure of Allah. You know what I'm saying? And then also Allah changed up the shaitan, the lower self. You know what I'm saying? In the month of Ramadan, if you choose to restrain yourself. Now it's not Allah allowing the shaitan to get you. It's yourself.
It's yourself.
Because Allah restrained the shaitan. So if I smoke weed or drink or whatever, that's not the Allah. You know, that's me doing that. The free will. You know what I'm saying? So as a Muslim, we should all try to do things to please Allah and to stay in tune with Allah and His Prophet, because this is, like you said, the Quran is our what's the word?
Power and authority.
Power and authority. So how could we be Moorish Americans and disrespect or go against the power and authority? You know what I'm saying? So as a Muslim or Moorish American, which we ascribe to Islam, this is what we just supposed to do. It's not the Arabs, because the Arab was the last one to come to Islam, if you want to tell the truth.
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the Prophet came to solidify them, because they were burying their own women. They were running around the Kaaba naked in Saudi Arabia. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he came to elevate it, to raise them up, you know what I'm saying, out of a dead level to a level perpendicular on the square, you know what I'm saying? So this is something like Moors, it really upsets me to hear my Moorish American brothers talking about Ramadan as an Arab culture. They disrespecting Allah, you know what I'm saying, first and foremost when you say that about the Quran, because Allah said it, not no Arab prophet. Yes, the Prophet Muhammad was an Arab, but he was a Moor. Let's not get it twisted. These are Moorish people.
One of our ancient forefathers.
They're one of our ancient forefathers. So how could you disrespect your granddaddy? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Or, you know, in that aspect. So that's all I have to say. May Allah accept our fast and forgive us for our mistakes. I hope what I said will benefit to everybody. And if I said anything wrong, may Allah please forgive me.
Islam.
Beautiful. Brother Mayhill.
If I just may touch, praise Allah, honor to His Prophet Noble Ali, honor to the conqueror, Hamza, the comforter, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Honors to everything Moorish, honors to everything that our Prophet brought us, honors to yourself, brother. Honors to yourself indeed, not honors to extend it to you. If I just may, I like how he just broke down on that Ramadan demonstration. Because Ramadan means to burn, and it does, it was not, see, a lot of things are simple, and this is my understanding. It's no strange things that before Ramadan, Easter happened. And before, Easter, we know that's really the Passover. You know what I'm saying? We know the Passover was something to do with the blood of the Lamb in Israel, etc. And etc. We don't got to go too far, too deep in it, but if you were born a Christian, you know about Passover. So the fact is, the idea of that Hebrew thought of Passover went into what is known as Ramadan. It was something that was practiced by our ancestors because they had a big feast first. And then after the feast, they fasted in the month where it burns. You see what I'm saying? But it's very interesting because, we could go into our power authority,
Islam,
the Quran of Muhammad. And, this is just Jesus from Surah Al-Ma'idah, which is the table. Was Jesus, when he was turning over tables, right? In instruction 1, as they say, ayah, we see is, "O you who believe, fulfill all your obligations. Lawful to you are all the beasts of cattle, animals for food, except those named below. Unlawful is the game, which are, you know, animals and creatures that you may chase to catch when you are wearing the ihram, the special garments for the pilgrimage or Surely Allah commands what He wills. O you who believe, do not change the holiness of the sacred symbols of Allah, nor of the sacred month of Ramadan, nor of the animals brought for sacrifice, nor of the garlands. Now we just stop right there, because of course it goes into a lot of different things, and it's a couple more ayahs I want to touch on, but the fact is, it said do not change the month of Ramadan. And the reason why is because most of the time we confuse practice with observance. You see what I'm saying?
Islam.
Observance is observing. Practice means we practice. Okay. So if we want to talk about, okay, Wahhabi traditions, okay, we want to talk about Shia traditions, you know what I'm saying, Sunni traditions, you know what I'm saying? Everybody in the Islamic world practice Ramadan, whether if they go to Mecca or not. You see what I'm saying? Whether they choose to be with Arabians or not. Everybody practice or observes Ramadan in some kind of way. And I bear witness because even our brothers from Tuba, West Africa, Senegal, I was with them last night for a dawah, and we all had, we congregated. You know, these brothers and sisters, they welcomed me as a brother. You know what I'm saying? They welcomed me as a brother. You know, they broke fast doing iftar. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't really even break fast then. They had grapes and fruits served to you, etc. But we can see right here that this is not something that's Arab. This was African. You know what I'm saying? So if it goes back to being African, and we know Muhammad was a seed of Hagar. You see what I'm saying? Who was Hagar? An Egyptian woman. See, the Kaaba itself is nothing but an imitation of Hagar circling around. You know what I'm saying? The Hajj is Hagar circling around. So, a lot of the customs we have to understand, yes, if you want to say it's Arab, yes, but they get it from Egyptian society. Ancient Egyptian society, when they actually were practicing certain things. So, I have to say, man, we gotta learn to love instead of hate, you know. You know, and when I say that, you know, let me say this now. That doesn't mean we have to get directly into Arab customs, as you know, as the brother said. You know, we ain't gotta be walking around here talking about no salam alaikum. You know what I'm saying? We say Islam. You know what I'm saying? Peace. You know what I'm saying? If your intentions is good. See, Islam is about intentions. Islam is not about, you know what I'm saying? I know it sound nice. The Zan sound nice. You know what I'm saying? But. And I know some of my brothers are like, well, we ain't supposed to get into that, but you need some of that. The fact that the Quran is written as a song is because it was written to capture the soul of that. You see what I'm saying? That's why if you mostly look at it in the country, most of the biggest azans happening are in the African countries. You see what I'm saying? Indonesia, they don't want to claim it, but that's a Moorish country. You see what I'm saying? Indonesia is the biggest place where the Muslims are always.
99%, 100% Muslim.
Wow.
Indonesia. It's not even in Arabia. It's so many little splinter sects.
That's fine.
It's so many little splinter sects. Okay, what about the Jews who practice a form of Ramadan? What about the Gnostic Christians or the Coptic Christians?
Everybody fast from the three monasteries faiths.
Everybody fasting. You see what I'm saying? So. Even the Druids, and people don't talk about the Druids and the Druze, D-R-U-Z-Z people. They wear fezzes, and they are a small group of people that wear fezzes over there. These people practice Islamic customs as well, and I'm pretty sure they participate in the fast because everybody knows that this is the month to burn. This is the month to purify. See, it's the reason why Nobles Ali came in fire. Now, if you do not want to fast, you know what I'm saying? May Allah bless you. You know what I'm saying? May Allah bless you for all your good deeds. But you cannot be mad just in case. Because what are you going to do if you run into a Jew and the Jew say he practicing Ramadan? Because I've ran into different people that do things in secrecy. Go ahead, bro.
I have a lot of Christian friends from Senegal and Nigeria, and they tell me they fast with the Muslims. If the Christians are fasting with the Muslims,
why aren't the Moors? Why aren't the Moors?
I don't know. No, seriously, you have Christian people that's born in Nigeria You have family members that's Muslims, and they doing the Muslim thing,
Right.
and then fasting during Ramadan, and then during the Christian holidays, the Muslims do the things as long as it has no associate with shirk, meaning worshiping other than Allah. So this is a community effort. This is what the brother said. This is our umbilical cord. This is what ties us to the millions of nations, to many nations. So we as Muslims, we have to be the ones to set the stage. You feel me?
Right.
And enjoying the good for being because the opposite attracts. You know what I'm saying?
Islam.
You cannot. How can I say this? A clean glass of water and a dirty glass of water. The average person gonna go to the clean glass. And the Prophet Allah said that He created us as the Ummah of Muhammad, which is extension of the Moorish Science Temple of America, to do what? To be the beacon light for the humanity, to call us to the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what we got to be doing. Forget about big and arguing if you want to fast. If you want to fast, don't fast.
Right.
But let the brothers that's trying to grow faster to Allah.
Game. I like how you said that. If you don't want to fast, don't fast. I don't mean cut your
Right, but yeah, sorry, no problem. But we have to, as Muslims and Moorish Americans or whatever, we have to be examples for humanity. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Period.
that's
right.
You know what I mean? No matter what you know what I'm saying, how weak you are, strong, that's why we got each other. We supposed to have Ikram Muslimin. You want for your brother what you want for yourself.
Praise
You
Allah.
want for your sister what you want for yourself. So
Praise Allah.
if you see you doing wrong, check me.
Yes.
You feel me?
Islam.
You know what I'm saying? And then that's uplifting for all humanity. I'm not talk too much. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say you said Neil Bay, but the Neil Bay said it's full
Fast in the Circle 7 Koran. I would love
It is.
after you get a chance, I want the Grand Sheikhs to demonstrate on that if you don't mind.
Yes,
If you're
no.
ready.
Yeah, if we definitely have time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I really want to get to the Ramadan,
Okay, yeah.
First.
Okay, go ahead.
Because again, there's a sickness out there. Mental illness is rampant. And one way to combat mental illness is to see mental illness comes from being afraid to be alone with yourself, being afraid to work on yourself, being afraid to get to the source of the inflammation, because there is something that is inflammatory within you that keeps inflaming itself upon you. So Ramadan means to burn. So these things that are plaguing us, that affect our thinking processes, we need to really study and get rid of. Because again, to debate with another war, or to debate with anyone on their quote unquote religious beliefs, practices, customs, laws, etc., that's not love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice at all.
Islam.
That's not love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Actually, it's a direct violation of Act 3 of the Divine Constitution and bylaws. So we need to, I really do want to get clear on the practices, because we're looking at the name, so to speak. And again, I've seen so many Moors, intelligent Moors, who are debating this and being petty, talking about, when did the Prophet Noble Drew Ali demonstrate Ramadan? Did he ever? So if he did not, what's next?
Well,
What happens if he did not? This is what I'm saying.
They're saying that
So
you are
you're starting frivolous arguments and debates. Frivolous. It has no weight, it has no bearing, it is an illusion, and it will pass away because it is falsehood. Islam, Brother Michael.
what is Lent?
Link?
Lent.
Oh, Link. That's the Catholic holiday.
Catholic
Ash
giving up.
Wednesday.
Right.
Ash Wednesday to Easter.
Easter.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they get this Good Friday stuff from? That they gonna give up something?
Give up.
It's a fast.
It's a fast.
But why does it happen before Ramadan? Aren't we supposed to return the church and Christianity back to the pale-skinned nations of Europe who are governing portions of Palestine at that time?
Praise Allah.
True.
I grew up in the Catholic Church, not a Catholic church, but just going to schools. So I used to, my people were Jehovah's Witnesses. I used to tell them I can't get no ash on my head. So you know what they say? Go over there. Yeah, and I go over there. I don't do that ass on the way. See, the thing is, and I like how we got into the Ramadan part, because if it means to burn, where's the closest place to meet the devil? In yourself. We can act like, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, Mo.
We can act like this devil is just this European or this Arab. Who created them?
Right.
I'm always going back to, I mastered them. So if I mastered them, then let me learn how to master myself. So if it's prescribed means what? Prescription. You know what I'm saying? Like we take our prescription drugs, right? It's just, if it is a prescribed drug to you, you know, and again, it's just observe if the Christians do what they did in a slick way. Oh, we're just gonna stop eating steak for a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
how they do. We're gonna clean this and we're just gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? And they get their blessings. Why not you?
Right.
The jinn is within.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, yes, it is.
Allah say you going with an angel on your shoulder, two of them a jinn, one of a jinn and one of an angel, and then you got two angels before you. You got one dealing with you on the day of judgment. You got all type of angels and all type of spirits around you. And if we Moorish Americans, we got that out of times, and we should know. We should be mastering everything. Now, I don't agree with us, you know, like bro said, that's why I said read out Maida, because it talks about the kicking over of the tables, like when we go into the certain places and it say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and then they swallow swine up under that. We don't agree with that.
Right.
That's something we should talk about to our Arab brothers, right?
Exactly.
You know, if you don't want to call him a brother, holler at him, because I hit him with the Quran all the time.
Right.
But you know what's happening to y'all real quick? When now it's the month of Ramadan, let me use this example. You have all these Moorish Americans in the Moorish science of America attacking Islam. So now you have other Muslims that's watching this. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Other Muslims are watching this.
They're watching it.
So they're like, look at these people. They going against Allah. You know what I'm saying? So now really they shirk. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now we're never going to hear this Noble Drawley stuff. You know what I mean? Right. Because you're going against what Allah says. You know what I'm saying? Not you, but in general.
Right, of course.
The movement. So that's giving us a black eye in the
Big
world,
one.
on the table of things.
Well, I wanted to ask a question because, you know, I'm new, and I need the details of how you do fast, because there are all kinds of fasts.
Can I tell them?
And so I need to know what are the basic guidelines or understanding of specific fasts
Okay, can I tell you
for
for a woman?
Ramadan.
Well, let's
Go ahead.
about to answer.
For a woman, if you're on your cycle, first and foremost, you don't have to pray. You don't have to fast or
You
pray.
have to fast
Or pray. You have to make up the days that you didn't fast. You have to make those days up. But the fast consists of, before the sun comes up, you eat food, drink water. And as soon as the sun is up, meaning coming up, no more water. Refraining from food, water, alcohol, anything that you got to put in your mouth. And also your thinking has to be clean. You know what I'm saying? No vulgar language. Just operating off the higher self. You understand the higher self? I mean, like, so we're basically demonstrating off the higher self and suppressing the lower self within you. Not worrying about somebody else's,
Right.
worry about your own self. Because the Ramadan is for me. Not for you, it's for me. But it's for everybody, but it's for me. Allah not going to ask me about what you did. He's going to ask me about me, but what I did. So it's all about refraining from food and beverage.
Wait, before the sunrise,
Before the sun rises, you get up in the morning if you want to, drink water, brush your teeth, because you can't brush your teeth after that. You know what I'm saying? Brush your teeth, and no food. Eat some food, and then that's it. Once the sun comes up, that's it. Then when the sun goes down, when the sun sets, you look at your phone, see what time sun sets. When the sun sets, then it's okay to drink water and eat food again. And I always try to read the Quran. Like at nighttime, the Muslims are reading the Quran. You know what I'm saying? Every Muslim during the month of Ramadan reads one chapter. It's 30 days, 30 chapters, 30 juzes. You read one chapter a day. Or go to prayer. So it's called Taraweeh. Salatul Taraweeh at the mosque. You know what I'm saying? If you choose to do that. But for those that don't know how to do it, it's easy to learn. It's easy to learn. You just follow the prostrations. You know what I'm saying? You get benefit. It's like meditation.
Right.
The salat is meditation.
That's right.
Yes, it
You know what I'm
is.
saying? Basically.
Yes, it is.
So it's like the Buddhists, like you said, you're a Buddhist, y'all meditate. Salat is meditation. You know what I mean? So I hope you understand. Do you have any more
I
questions?
do what's called as gongya.
Okay. So do you have any more questions on the brother can tie it
Okay, and so All right, so that's after the sun rises,
Right.
and so that's the entire day.
Entire day.
You have nothing to eat,
And no water.
nothing to drink,
Right. Correct.
and then when the sun
Alhamdulillah.
sets, is that when you eat?
Yeah, that's
or-
when you eat.
We
drink
call it
water,
break
yeah.
fast.
It's called
Iftar.
breaking your fast.
Iftar.
Iftar, but in English it's called breaking your fast. Yeah, it's called iftar, to break your fast, to eat again.
So
Breakfast.
breakfast.
Yeah, break
Yeah,
fast.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
right.
That's it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
What was I gonna say?
Okay, so depending on the sun's probably may set like around about 7:35 or 8:35 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you eat.
Then you eat,
Right.
and okay,
Worship, read the Quran. Until the next morning, because the night
the next
precedes the day.
sunrise.
The next sunrise.
Mhm.
The night precedes the day. And it's a little joke in the Muslim community called Ramadan. Like when the food, you know what I'm saying, when it's time to eat, you can eat. You know what I'm saying? Eat until your heart's content. But once again, the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he did not make his stomach a graveyard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He ate things in moderation. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He did not go crazy with it, you know what I mean? Because his deen is, we have to follow the middle path, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So just eat just enough to subdue your passion, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And drink enough to subdue your passion, then just the rest of the night is for worshiping Allah. You know, reading the Quran or making Salatul Tarawih. Some people do 20 rakats. That's takes about 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For the diehards, they doing 20, 24. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And then after that, they go home and do what's called Salatul Tahajjud, which is the night prayer. They go to sleep, then they wake up before Fajr, make 2 rakats or 3 rakats, whatever you want to do, and then eat some more,
Eat
then
some
eat
more,
some more,
right.
then that's it. So those are the diehards, you know what I mean? So it's all about just a basic drawing closer to Allah. It's not even about the exercise. It's about getting in tune with your Creator.
It's
You
not.
understand? Well, whoever that Creator is, you know what I mean?
Islam, and also, coming from the health side of things as well. Through it all, Allah wants ease for us. So if you are not, if you're fasting and you're not feeling well, break your fast.
Yeah.
Because we don't want anyone out here getting sick, passing out, extreme headaches, because those are all signs that your sugar may be low. So we don't want anybody going into like any type of sugar shock or anything like that. If you do happen to have to break your fast, do a good deed. Feed another fasting Muslim.
Or non-Muslim.
Or non-Muslim, just humanity.
Yeah, humanity.
Give to the homeless or something like that. As long as it's a good deed, and it would definitely count, to Allah as your fast for that day, and you will receive your equal reward in that. And also, let's see, what else I was going to say about the fast. If you have a health condition, as some of us do your best. If you can do like a half a day of Ramadan, sometimes just starting out, what I suggest for people just starting out with the practice of fasting during the month of Ramadan is take your time and take it slow. Listen to your body, because your body will tell you if you're going to be able to do this or not. I've had, sisters pass out, trying to keep the fast, not understanding there are, stipulations and things of that nature, that you can definitely, it's definitely excusable. Islam is excusable. So again,
How many days exactly does the fast last? How many days?
30.
29 to 30.
29 to 30. Yeah, because I think
it's
it's 29 this year.
Yeah,
29. It's It was May 6th to June 5th. Yeah, May 6th to June 5th. So it's 29 days.
So do the same things when you're on your period. You said that you do not have to do it if you're on your cycle. So
You cannot do it if you're on your cycle. It's not, you don't have to, you cannot. You're in the cleansing phase.
You just break the fast, eat, and then go back. In my philosophy of Nietzsche Buddhism, we have a term it's called Honim Yo, the Honim Yo spirit. And if you're not able to maintain your determination or your goal, then you recognize that, and then you just pick up where you left off at. So
that's basically the
That's
same.
so simple.
Similar thing.
Similar. Similar.
We honor all true and divine prophets.
Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, and Confucius.
Islam.
Islam, brother man.
Islam. Praise Allah to Prophet Noble Jura Ali. Ramadan Mubarak to everybody celebrating.
Ramadan Kareem.
Allah Kareem.
Honor to the forerunner, Mark's Mosaic Garden, to the being Garden Saint. So can't forget to honor him.
Islam.
Briefly state that, I was touching on earlier, what the brother May Ill said, when Brother Solomon spoke about Ramadan meaning to burn, and he said he went to Catholic school, and he had to put the ashes on them. I also went to Catholic school. I started Catholic school, K through 4, and I remember going in the school. We used to have to, they had the ash Wednesday, stuff like that. But the same place that they want you to put the ashes, is the same place they want you to put the water too. The holy water.
Wow.
So you know what I'm saying. So like you say about to burn it. So that's the whole little thing he mentioned about the ashes, the burning. He mentioned Easter. All these things are symbolic, like the brother say, of going into the land of flesh and stains, of abstaining, like we mentioning fasting from food that's being mentioned, but abstaining from other things. Fasting is always supposed to also refrain from other things during fasting as well. So, but also with that burning, it's and tying in with the brother mentioning Easter and all that turning east, going inward, but and then coming out resurrected. Like that phoenix, like I said, burning, that fire, that phoenix bird, though, that rising from the ashes. That's been purified by that water.
Right.
The prophet say, when the fire come, I'll be the water.
Yes, indeed, more. Yes, indeed.
And going into that inner heart, to the Koran that he brought us, but we derive our power and authority for the great Koran of Muhammad. So, and it also, and it's 26 ayats in the Holy Quran of Mecca, which speaks about Ramadan. So he say we derive our power and authority from the great Quran of Mecca of Muhammad. Then he's not just talking about a portion of the book, So and also when it says on our nationality card, it say I hereby declare that you are a Muslim under the divine laws of the Holy Quran of Mecca. True peace, freedom, and justice. If he wanted to, he could have had them put on there under the laws of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Sanctum of America. He could have made it fit on them.
Right.
So like I say, he said we are returning to Islam.
That's right.
Period. And he said Islam is a simple faith.
That
We
is.
keep making it hard.
Yes.
But quickly, briefly, I want to touch on the Quran that he instructed for us to study as well, that he divinely prepared. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Sanctum of America. Divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guidance of the Father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from the sinful and fallen state of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. I want to go quickly to chapter 15.
Yes, indeed.
Chapter 15, and we talked about turning east, or going to the inner heart.
In the heart.
Burning something off. But that chapter 15 is where Jesus goes to the wilderness for self-examination, in which we supposed to be doing Ramadan, not only not eating, but examining ourselves and studying ourselves, like the prophet Noble Jurali instructed us to do.
Chapter 19.
So self-examination, where he remains 40 days, is subjected to 3 temptations. He overcomes, returns to the camps of John, and begins teaching. Instruction 1 says, the harbinger had paved the way. That's the purity, the purification.
Right.
The logos have been introduced to men as love made manifest, and he must now begin his divine ministry. Instruction 2. And he went forth into the wilderness to be alone with Allah, that he might look into his inner heart and know its strength and worthiness. And with himself he talked. He said, my lower self is strong. By many times I am bound down to carnal life. Now again, that's not going to Ramadan. That's teaching us to not only abstain from, refrain from eating food, but other things that's, carnal, that's dealing with the flesh.
Right, Islam.
I wanted to touch on another instruction that's similar to that, where it goes to, what's that, chapter 24. Chapter 24. The obedience of children towards their father.
Praise Allah. There we go, Mo.
Now, in instruction 1, he says, from the secrets from Allah, let man learn wisdom and apply to himself the instructions they give. Now, from the secrets from Allah, let man learn wisdom. Now, wisdom is the consciousness that Allah and man are one. In order to be that's mean you got to get back to the highest plane of life, where he spoke about on his Koran. You know what I mean? You got to get back to the highest plane of life to get those secrets. So now, but you got to go into your inner heart instead of being on the surface part of it. You know what I'm saying? And if it's been turned to stone, now you got to hit it with that hammer. Be truthful with yourself. You know what I mean? And with that, I yield the floor.
Islam. Islam.
Islam. And also what I want to touch on, we honor all true and divine prophets, correct?
Islam.
So, I want to go to chapter 45. Islam. So, because if we are, we honoring all true and divine prophets. And not only are we honoring all true and divine prophets, we get to see who's all Muslims, right? In chapter 45. So in chapter 45 is divine origins of the Asiatic nations. And I'm going to go to instruction 7, right to the end. I'm going to go right to the completion of that circle. The Turks are the true descendants of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of the Islamic creed of Mecca, in which we derive our power from the Holy Koran of Mecca, Islam. Beginning from Muhammad the First, the founding of the uniting of Islam, by the command of the great universal God, Allah.
That's right.
Then if we go ahead and go to the next chapter and go to instruction 9, instruction 10, which is chapter 40, we're going to go to 2 chapters over, chapter 47. And instruction 9 says, instruction 10 says, what your ancient forefathers were, you are today without a doubt or contradiction. So what I want to ask the Moors is, isn't Prophet Muhammad one of our ancient forefathers?
Islam.
He's one of our ancient forefathers, correct? So why is there all this talk about Ramadan not being brought by the prophet when the prophet said he came back 5 times strong?
That's deep.
So he may not brought it in the form of, I'm going to give this directly to you, but he did bring it in the form that all of the prophets taught love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam. And the thing is, we can't deny what our Father has brought us. Our forefather, our ancient forefather, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We can't deny what he has in here because you see it plain as day. 47 instruction 10. I'm going to read that again. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today, without a doubt or contradiction. So that means that everyone who is so-called debating about the month of Ramadan and the fasting practices, you are contradicting what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought. And we have to be careful about what we're saying and cutting out all this radical and agitating speech. Social media is a part of the public. Keep your wrongdoings out of the public. Because we're actually violating the laws that the prophet laid down. Again, let's keep on chapter 47, right? Now we're going to go to chapter 47 and we're going to go to instruction. Let's start at 13. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meeting and guide it accordingly to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. I, the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, was sent by the great God Allah. So was Prophet Muhammad. Correct?
Yes.
Islam.
To warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways. Again, contradicting what the prophet wrote. Contradicting our ancient forefathers. It's sinful. Islam. Before that great and lawful day that is sure to come.
Sure to come.
It's sure.
And if I may,
Islam, brother.
may I read from
Islam.
the great Quran of Muhammad.
Praise Allah.
Surah 82, which is called the splitting apart. It's known as Al Infinitar. When the sky is split apart, when the stars fall thrown around, when the oceans are made to burst apart, and when the graves are turned upside down, each soul shall know what it has been sent forward and what it has been kept back. Oh man, what has misled you away from your Lord?
Wow.
He who has created you, giving you the proper size and shape, gave you just a basis for thinking. In whatever form he wishes, he puts you together. No, but you men reject the final judgment. But surely over you are angels to protect you, kind and honorable, writing down your deeds and works. They know and understand all that you do. As for your righteousness, they will be in joy, and the wicked they will be in fire, which they will enter on the day of judgment. And they will not be able to keep away from them. And what will explain to you what the day of judgment? Again, what will explain to you what the day of judgment is? It will be the day when no soul shall have power to do anything for another, because on that day the command will be holy with Allah.
Praise Allah.
May Allah save us from that.
Yes, on.
May Allah save us.
So from what you're saying is you have people who are, as you say, operating on that lower
Frequency.
yes, we call it life condition, your lower life condition, instead of the high life condition or high
Yes, Allah.
frequency.
Yes, yes.
And so when you are speaking with individuals such as that, you realize that is not where you want to be. And you remove yourself from that. And at the same time, that's like slander. And
Wow.
so if you're able to, there are degrees of slander, but when it's a grave slander, you speak on it, because then that makes you just as bad as that person. But at that same time, if it's something that's trivial, then you don't give it any energy. But at that same time, it's like we have to have wisdom, because the little small things could turn into something very big.
Very big. And there lies the confusion.
Can I say one thing real quick? That's beautiful. And what I was going to say is two angels. This is what we believe in the Islamic world. It's two angels that's attached to you. Allah is attached to two angels, everybody. Munkar and Nakir. Everything that you say and everything that you write and think of is being written down in your book. You know what I'm saying? So on the day of judgment, they're going to hand you your book, the angels of Allah, and say, this is what you did with your life. Now read. what I'm saying? So now you have to read back, even though I already know, but that's for your own testification that this is what you did with your life. Read what you did with your life, and the judgment comes. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was reading, and that's sword right there. So that's so scary. You know, only you know what you said and did. Oh my God. Only I know what I said and did, but then your book is handed to you in your hand, and be like, read Ikra in the name of your Lord. And you got to tell on yourself
That's right.
what you did.
But you still gotta love yourself regardless.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
That's
of
the
it.
whole
That's the
point.
That's the whole point
Yep.
of it. Those who cannot learn to love instead of hate.
Yes.
This is what the science is all about. If we can learn to love instead of hate, starting with learning to love ourselves,
Yes.
learning to love each other, learning to love for one another. You know what I'm saying? This is how it starts. For those that can't, those that have that negative vibe tore down in the shallows, their condition is surely to be hell.
Yes. Yes.
And the fire is to come after that.
And just briefly, chapter 44, instruction 19, speaks about the reflection of man being your main business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I always tell people, mind your business. Because if you're minding mine, what's in me won't save you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? What I'm doing to save me ain't going to save you.
Right.
Because, you know, everyone's salvation is personal.
There it is.
Salvation is personal.
Yeah.
And we do not have the same paths. We are joined by different people on our paths, but, you know, some stay with us, some drop off.
Man.
You see what I'm saying? But reflection being a business of man, that's what you do in Ramadan as well. Like you just said, now read. At the end of the day, we read. I reflect on everything that I have said and done at the end of the day. Not only the end of the day, but all through the day. Making sure my actions are parallel with the prophet.
That's great.
And if they are not, I always, you know, make sure I pray a prayer, you know, for Allah to forgive me for all the sins that I have committed to hurt my brothers and sisters, both knowing and unknowing. You see what I'm saying? Because that's a part of your intentions. You know, I have a lower self. We all do. And I may go out here and I may say something inflammatory to someone. You know what I'm saying? Or do something that's a quote unquote out of character. But again, this is why Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, is so important, because you get to exercise, truly exercise that fasting. Even though you can fast anytime. And your fast is also personal because your salvation is personal. So it matched for you. The whole idea of fasting is to get closer to Allah, and to clear up your ethers that are murky. Because we can murk up our ethers with the food we eat, the people we're around, you know, things that we drink, things that we touch. It's so easy. So again, breaking the fast, as the brother said earlier, you can break the fast not just by eating. It's not about eating. You can break the fast by doing something that's, you know, even a thought. Because again, that's where the sin lies. So you break your fast all the time, Brother Rasul.
Count back.
Islam.
As you stated earlier, well, you know, I want to say, when Ramadan starts, what's the first thing that they look for the sighting of? Is
The moon.
The moon, right? The symbol of what you just spoke of, you just mentioned, salvation, right? That symbol is symbolic of what? Well, what symbol do we use for the symbol of salvation?
The crescent moon and the
moon,
5 points.
right? So, and salvation is what? Again, it's dealing with the heart. A salvation is the ladder that reaches from the heart of man to the heart of Allah. You know what I'm saying? So again, now you got to go back and deal with self. You got to reflect, like the sister just mentioned. You got to reflect. You got to go to the wilderness, whatever. You got to be alone. You got to refrain from doing many things. But the prophet used that symbol for a reason: salvation, the sighting. So we look for that sighting around this time of the month or whatever the year.
Right.
you know what I mean, to burn off,
Salvation.
cut it off, you know what I'm saying?
Purification of the heart.
Right.
Islam.
You ain't gonna burn up, you know what I'm saying? The prophet said when the fire come, you gonna be the water.
be
But
the
he know
water.
that burn up all that sin in you though. You know what I'm saying?
Right. There it is, right
So,
there.
And
There it
she teaches that she spoke about, you know, conditions. This sister mentioned about, she said in Buddhism they called it life conditions.
Life conditions, right.
And we know you spoke about the ethers affecting that. We know when conditions change, the ethers change.
Yep.
So that could be, in conditions are something that's finite. We
Right.
can be affected at what she just spoke of, our environment, or what we
Right.
take in, or just the atmosphere around
Yeah,
it. But you still taking it in from here, from these different senses that we
Right.
have.
Praise Allah.
That's deep.
Islam. Brother Mayhill.
That's deep. I just wanted to camelback off what you said, Shikis. And I said that a long time ago. You know, if you could find the sin in the thought, in the same thought you find the sin, right? What is the same thought you find salvation in? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If it's in the wish, if it's not in the act, if it's in the desire, it's in all that, and it's just the wish, then the salvation is within that same wish. See, the only way to get away from sin is by salvation.
Yes.
You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? The only opposite to sin is salvation. That's why in ancient times the symbol of sin was a moon. And now in these times, the ancient times, what we living in now, the symbol of salvation is for us is what? The moon.
Islam. And also in chapter 15, we talk about going into the wilderness. This is about going into the into the wilderness. This is actually the one of the fasts right here. This chapter 15.
That's deep.
Chapter 15 is one of the fasts.
Yes.
It's one of the fasts.
That's deep.
So and look at it. He was sitting there and he's thinking, he's contemplating. Again, he's reflecting, and he says, and it's letting him know, and with himself after that he might go into his inner heart. Now, I didn't say he did. He said that he might. So this is at the beginning of that fasting period. And it says, and with himself he talked, and he said, my lower self is strong. That he can admit. By many ties I am bound down to carnal life. Then he asks himself a question, have I the strength to overcome and give my life as a willing sacrifice to men? Now he's asking the question, do I have the strength? So in order to find the strength, that's his introduction to starting his fast, right? Because you got to see how strong you are, right? So what shall I stand before the face, when I shall stand before the face of men, and they demand a proof of my messiahship, what shall I say? Then the tempter came. Lo and behold, that lower self-thought popped up. Then the tempter came and said, because, we're not talking about an actual physical person that came up to Jesus and said, hey, man, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Now, we're talking about his own thoughts, his own tempting thoughts, right? So, and the tempter came and said, if you be the son of Allah, command these stones to bread. So he let them know, I know you got the power to do what you do. You know what I'm saying? You hungry. You know you hungry. Go on ahead and turn this stone to bread and have you something to eat, man. You know what I'm saying? It'll be all right. It'll be all right. You see what I'm saying? Again, this is a part of the fasting. And he asks him, who is it that demands a test? This is what Jesus said to the tempter. This is what he said in his mind to himself. In this battle with himself as he was fasting. He says, and Jesus said, who is it that demands a test? It is no sign that one is the son of Allah because he does a miracle. The devils, with an S, can do mighty things. So, and it goes on to talk about, the next tempter, and the next one, and the next one. So again, remember, this took course over 40 days. That's a long time. This took place over 40 days. And then, look, check this last two instructions out, right? 16 and 17. For 40 days did Jesus wrestle with his carnal self, and his higher self prevailed. He then was hungry. He then was hungry, but his friends had found him, and they ministered to him. Then Jesus left the wilderness, and in the consciousness of the holy breath, he came unto the camps of John and taught. Now that's just basically telling you that, yeah, he was hungry when he came up out of there. He was hungry, but his friends found him and said, hey, you know, this is how we're going to break that fast. We're going to feed you some of this spiritual food. He said he wasn't hungry for anything that was carnal, because at the ending of that 40 days, he had proven that he can battle that. He won his battle against that carnal. He won. So now to further to break that fast, they fed him with that spiritual food, and then now he's ready. Now he's ready to go into the camps of John. He hyped. He done got that food, you know, he's powerful, he feels good. So he goes into and he left the wilderness. I mean, he came out of that battle. He left. Resurrected. He came, and he came in there, you know, troubled, possibly. You know, he came in there in a way that, like, look, and I'm pretty sure, as you can tell, he went into Ramadan humble. That's what we have to do as well. We have to come into this season, if we are going to indeed partake in it, in a humble manner. We have to
tell
be humble.
everybody. That's not everybody. It's nobody's business. To
Right. It's the thing to life is it's not somebody else's job to get to know you. It's up to you to get to know you. It's no one else's job. So, like, if somebody tell me, oh, I'm trying to get to know you, no, you're not. Because that means you ain't working on yourself. And I ain't got time for that, because then I got to work on you too. I got enough work for me. I don't have time. So, but again, he left the wilderness, as my brother said, resurrected. Resurrected. And in the consciousness. Not knowing the consciousness, he was in the consciousness. Peep that. In the consciousness of the holy breath. So he in it. Now he's being what he knows. He about to start being what he knows.
Not what he believes.
The fruition.
Fruition.
Yeah, the fruition has come. So now he can go in and teach what he needs to teach. And he went and he came into the camps of John and taught. So he was able to demonstrate, you know, what he had learned, you know, because that was going to be his job. Because Elihu told his mom, like, you got to set their sons on fire so they can go out and do the same thing and make one's conscious, you know, of their affairs of men. Make them conscious. You know what I'm saying? Upon the affairs with the nations and men, with nations and men. So this is what he's doing. He had to prepare himself for that. Now he's at that point. Now he's ready. Islam? So I just want to point that out, that, you know, fasting is something. My thing is this. If you are one who does not fast, even if you don't like it, again, that's up to you. That's you. But everyone else that wants to get closer to Allah, stop stepping in their way. Because this is a way that's going to work for them. It's discipline. It shows you discipline. It shows you if you're not disciplined as well. This is what we have to understand. This is not a game. This is not about what the Prophet brought as far as if he said, practice Ramadan. Well, don't practice Ramadan. Y'all trying to say, show me where he did it, right? Show me where I can show you where Jesus did it, though. And we honor all true and divine prophets. And our prophet was actually an Egyptian adept. Some people tend to forget that.
So was Jesus.
And so was Jesus. So again, follow the holy pattern of prophets, which indeed are honorable, because they all came delivering the message of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Right? They all came delivering those messages, and a form of fasting is necessary, because some of the ones that's complaining about Ramadan being celebrated. You got too much damn time on your hands. Pardon my language. I just broke the fast right there.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But you know, it's disappointing.
Good.
You good?
Yeah, love for you.
I love you.
Yeah, it's not.
Era. It's not a nationality.
There it goes.
Correct.
No, it ain't no national.
It
There you
means
go.
desert man. You are the first desert man.
Right, Islam,
Oh,
boy.
you
It's
see me
loud.
hand raised? Okay.
Islam, boy.
And that shuts the whole thing down.
That's in a nutshell.
The
And,
original.
and you
Just
know
shut it
what?
down.
I'm
Yeah, went to
glad
the
bro
original,
just
man.
shared that. Because you want to know why? Moors deal with nationalities, right?
Right.
What Arab tradition? What part? Of
Right.
what part? See, because there's
Exactly.
no Arabia, it's a Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
Right. So that's what I said. They call them Saudi.
And that's the family name.
That's the
That's a
family,
family
name.
name.
That's the house.
Saud.
The house.
That's the house of Saud.
Yeah.
It is an insecurity from not being able to speak that particular language. That
Yeah, that too.
You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah,
it's
that
something
too.
that's inside of us. It's something inside of us we know is ours. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's our
but we
culture.
become insecure and because we can't speak it and somebody else doing it. So we want to say, them Arabs, but like you say, the brother just said it's only one country, Saudi Arabia, whatever. He spoke. We're the original people.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
Can I say this? Like when I was in the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan used to always say this. This is not a personality code. Or a nationality code either.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I
it's
told some
not.
Moorish Americans, I said, Moorish Science Temple of America is deeper than just nationality, you know what I'm saying? And they going all off on me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not religious and all this stuff. I said, how could you be?
But it's a religious government, though.
I'm like, how? But long story short,
Right.
we have to look at the Prophet Noble Ali and respond and recognize what he did, then implement it to our life. That's
Yes,
point
sir.
blank. That's it. That's all. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're not strong enough to do Ramadan, leave it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you can do it, do it. And like the sister said, Sister Janicia Bay, the Grand Shakers, just let the brothers, the Moors, that's trying to grow closer to Allah, leave them alone and
Leave
stop
them
being
alone.
shaitan.
Yes.
Because that's what the shaitan come to see, kill, and destroy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what they're doing. And I don't believe they're even Moors. You know what I'm saying? Moorish Americans. They just
Huh.
got on faces. You know what I'm saying? Look, I bought this at downtown Islamic Center. No, at the Masonic store. So you can just go in there and buy the hat. Anybody can buy the
Just
hat.
buy it.
Just buy it. You know what I'm saying? You can buy all that stuff in there and just be a costume. You know what I'm saying? A Moorish costume. So Islam is more of action word. Islam is a verb. That's what I'm trying to say. Islam is a verb. It's an action word, meaning to do something, to submit. Islam means to submit. So if you're not submitting, what are you here for? You feel me?
Right. Right.
So that's it.
Islam. Praise Allah.
So I always make a distinction because I got into it. I don't know why I was debating, but I did. With this Moor online, I made a distinction between Moors and Moorish Americans.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is.
All right now.
It is.
All right, because it's a distinction. It's a
Now,
difference.
people out there
Teach.
fighting with the law and in court, acting a fool, those are Moors.
Yes, indeed.
But if you're not following the Constitution and bylaws of the Moorish Science Temple, that makes a distinction from a Moor to a Moorish American.
Right.
Islam. Well,
And I just leave it at that.
Islam.
Let me add on. Because you got Moors, you got Moorish Americans, you got Muslims, then you got Asiatics.
All right. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Not all Moors is Muslims. Not all Moors, like my brother said, are Moorish Americans. And not all Asiatics are Moors. But all Moors are Asiatics.
Yes,
Right.
indeed.
All Moors is Asiatics. All of us is Asiatics. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Emphatically, yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? But not all of our people are Muslims.
Right.
However,
Right.
according to the Prophet, by law, yes, they are. But by ideology and intentions, no, they not. No, they not. They are the farthest from it.
Right.
They hate the Quran,
That's
of the
right.
temple and of Muhammad. And that's
Wow.
even crazy, because how you gonna hate both? Like
Yeah, how
that,
you gonna hate
know,
both?
how you gonna hate both? You
And
know?
I can tell you why. I can tell you why they hate both. Because these holy demonstrations, these holy books make you look at yourself.
Yeah.
That's why they don't like it. Because it makes you look at yourself. Because we, in the Moorish Science Temple of America, we speak about Allah and man being one.
Yes, sir.
So you have to know, you have to what? What does it say, page 1? Know thyself and Allah with a period at the end. Period. Like, that's it. You don't go no further than that until you learn that. Know thyself and Allah, period. He didn't have to put no period right there. Because it's a title page. You see what I'm saying? It's a title page. So he could have just said, know thyself and Allah. But that period is a symbolism for you to stop.
Islam.
Stop right there. Because again, you would never know the true God until you learn your true self. You're never, and this is why we have ones that prefer to labor after a righteous man. They prefer to labor, and they prefer to dress up other men in fancy garments and call them priests. So in this day and age, in the Moorish Temple of America, sheiks. Islam. And some of the men that they're dressing up is not necessarily another man. It's the lower self that they're dressing up and calling that a sheik. Because again, man's ideal is his God. And as man unfolds, his God unfolds. So this is why they're not able to get in tune with the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America or the Holy Quran of Mecca. Because it makes you take a look at yourself. And we only, as some of us only surface did. We do this. I ain't going too far. I'm going to go right up in here. Stop. I'm going to move all the rocks out the way. And I'm going to stay right there. Because see, now when you think about it, think about when you're on the beach. And the thing is, when you at that beach, when you were a child, you want to hurry up and get to the bottom because you know it's going to be water down there. So you digging and you digging and you digging to get to that water that purified, right? But for some of us to do all that digging and the stuff we see on the way down as we get deeper, like, oh no, man, I can't go no further than that. It's too reminiscent of times that you're not too proud of.
Craig. Or you love the know and don't want to let go of that love for the things that's against you, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Allah
they
said,
love it. They love it. You know, because again, men love the dark.
Love the dark.
They don't say, the prophet didn't say men like the dark.
Love it.
Love the dark.
Love the darkness. And Allah is love, so how?
Right.
They like John Ali. They like being in ignorance.
And entertaining ignorance.
And that's a fact.
Entertaining ignorance. Look at the shows we have on TV today. Our people love to entertain our own ignorance.
The love and hip hop thing and all that.
Yeah.
Can't watch none of them shows no more.
Yeah.
And you know what it is though? You got people of color, they're ashamed of their skin color because they always want to get bleached. I'm trying to figure out why though. Because they're ashamed of who they are. As color. Like, you know, because it's strange because I see, you got athletes, you got some trying to be white, want to act white. Maybe they not woke enough, maybe they not woke, maybe that's whoever they married to is making them like that.
Well,
that's what I see, that's what I look at. That's like my theorized theory.
Well, in the entertainment business, I can say this because I've been quite in certain levels of the entertainment business. It's not that anybody, a significant other, is making them doing this. This is the price they pay for fame. You have to lose yourself to gain this wealth that we're going to give you. And actually, they don't think about it because, again, this is being given to you by someone else. So that means when it's all over and your contract is over and you're no longer useful, you're not getting the ratings, they take it right back.
Like our brother Rashid.
And you've been on what you've done. A lot of our Asiatic women, because we're not gonna say color, because we don't use, our people are not colors, But however, their pigmentation, their olive hue, they don't love that. They don't love the skin that they're in. So they're willing to change that. They're willing to say, I'm gonna get all this long blonde $1,000 weave. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bleach my skin. 2, 3, 4 shades lighter, not knowing that you're taking the melanin out your skin. Now you're more susceptible to skin cancer, just as they are.
Become a slave.
Become a slave.
Did you see our brother Rashid on the news yesterday? Common, the rapper.
Common.
He's married to a Caucasian. I don't know if you all know this. A woman, a Jewish lady. And our brother, is just shot.
She got married.
Yeah, I didn't know. I usually hear about that.
So, Common, From over east.
Yeah,
That's my
87.
man.
Folk on
Right.
He married a European though?
Yeah.
You serious? No,
I'm gonna have to
The
check
slum.
that.
I get
But this is
sidetracked with
Yeah,
that.
Anyway,
right.
but what I'm saying, the point is that, you know what I'm saying, tying this back into worshiping Allah, we have to stay focused and consistent and pay attention to ourselves, you know what I'm saying?
Is Common a Muslim?
Allahu Akbar.
No,
Allah knows best, you know what I'm saying? I don't
Well,
know.
we ain't finna, you know
Yeah,
what
we
I'm saying?
gonna
Hey.
stay
But anyway.
focused on the
That
lesson.
just
yeah.
threw me off.
Right.
I'm sorry.
But back, sorry for even going there with that, but listen, we just have to try to worship Allah in a way that we can appreciate and be sincere and serious with ourselves first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the sister said, this is not a game. You know what I'm saying? We have to take it serious because our life depends on it. You know what I mean?
Yes, it does.
And this is not like me. I'm gonna be for real. I'm not the perfect best Muslim, but I'm striving to be the best I can be. You know what I'm saying? And you may be at the level you want. Everybody at the level they are, but we have to be for real with the level wherever we at. Be for real with it. And the things that we fall short in, ask Allah for forgiveness. That's it.
Islam, Sister Bay.
I'm just thinking, okay, back to Ramadan. It's a time of cleansing. And so what it is that so many of our people are lost because they've been influenced by the Europeans that came here, and because they really don't know who they are. It's just like back in the day when I was going to school, my cousin, she was Catholic, and I think I was like about in the second or third grade or something like that, and she was saying that one of her classmates was sheltered. Now my cousin, she's a little bit older than me, and she had never been able to go outside much. She had to always just go to school, wear her uniform, and come home. And for her family situation, now she's got to go to a public school, and she sort of lost it. She lost it. She lost it because then she was open to so much that she really was not exposed to. And that's somewhat what how our people are right now, coming out of, the so-called dark aspects of the influence of slavery, and now it's just like, I'm just fortunate to be here with you all because of how I was chanting, because I wanted answers. Why is it like this? Okay? And my dear friend today, I was giving him a ride home from work, and as soon as he got in my car, he was like, Tiana, our people, he's like, the way they drive in a car with no courtesy, no common courtesy. I mean, like, even just a few years ago, it wasn't so wild. When you drive, people, they stop at the stop sign, and if the person on your right stops at the same time as you, then the person on the right is supposed to go. But now, you come to the stop sign, and if you're on the left, you look and see, now, are they going to observe the correct way to go or not? Okay? And so, right now, we are in the process of creating value with our life. And Ramadan is for me, just here learning about it, is a means to begin to develop that higher life condition or the higher self, because in the process of the fasting, then you're observing your mind and you're studying, and then it puts you in another state of existence, so that in the process of observing your mind, your behavior is more, I guess it is on a higher level as well in what it is that we do. And then in the process, encouraging others, because when you make that change, that forces others to change.
Islam, it does.
For the better.
It does. It does.
That's deep and that's true.
Yeah, that's definitely truth. You know, we have to, you know, again, being in tune with ourselves, and it's not always easy. It's definitely, we have some things, and this is why it's great to, for me at least, I can only speak for me, you know, practicing the fasting in the month of Ramadan. Because it, again, teaches me how strong I really am. It teaches me how strong I really am, whether I need to get stronger or where I'm good, where I'm at for now. You know, it teaches you discipline because, again, like, you know, even coming from the health prospect of it, when you actually fast, you recharge your organs. You recharge everything. Everything becomes heightened.
Yeah, it does.
Everything becomes heightened because, again, you know, and that's letting you know how many times our body really needs food. You know, some of us, we make the excuse of, oh, I gotta eat 3 times a day. Or I got, you know, again, that's being a slave to the lower self. That's being a slave to the lower self. So, you know, and what I would just hope that for anybody who was watching, that there was a more clearer understanding of Ramadan and its practices, purpose, things of that nature, and encourage them to do more research. Because that's the thing, because man knows not by being told. You know, we have people, it's easy for other people, especially with the Moors, you know, that do not choose to practice in the month of Ramadan. You know, it's a ridiculing, you know, of those who do like they're doing something that's what they call in the Muslim world shirk.
Or haram, forbidden.
Yeah, or haram. You know, like it's forbidding. This is a process to get closer to Allah. How can you mock that?
Deep.
How can you mock that? This is, you're becoming closer to Allah. When you starve the carnal self, you give more life to your spirit going back to that highest plane of life with your Father God Allah, to be able to put your hand in Allah's own hand with confidence and say, my Father God Allah, because you don't need a middleman to intercede. You don't need a middleman to intercede in that. And Ramadan is getting closer to, just look at it. Just look at the practices of it, whether the prophet brought it or not. He gave us everything we needed to save a nation. But you also have to understand, too, the prophet veiled forms very early. Very early. And we were talking about this earlier, Mo. Like, he veiled forms very early. So you don't know what he was really planning to implement.
But his footprints still clearly clipped, though, right? Because he left us Islam.
Islam. There it is, Mo. See, we run DMC. That
DMC. You can put my glasses on.
Right. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Brother made ill.
Islam, I like how y'all both just said that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like that. Truly, Allah is the greatest. You know, I just look at a lot of things. You know, we always talk about Moors being here, right? And they was here thousands of years before Columbus came and all that stuff. And I have to ask, okay, what was they doing when they was here? How did they get conquered? How did they lose everything they had, right? Once we find out what happened to those so-called aboriginals, then you'll see why Noble Drew Ali gave us Islam. So nothing like that can happen to us again.
Praise
you see
Allah.
what I'm saying? Until we understand what was the culture like. Because if I tell everybody, they'll be like, Mo, hey, yes it was. Because Islam is from the East.
Islam.
This is the first time in ages that this has been in the hands of the Muslims of who? America. Most of us is already from over there.
Right.
Of course, we connect to our brothers that was already, you know, transatlantic and etc. But, you know, Prophet said we've been sailing up and down the Missouri and Mississippi for years.
Rivers. Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself a question.
Mississippi
you know,
River, Nile River.
Nile River, whatever, you know, whatever, you know. Just,
Islam, all the same.
We have to understand why did he give us Islam?
Why did he give us Islam? He could have said you deriving your power and authority from what?
Cahokia Mountains.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Any of those things, but he specifically mentioned Muhammad.
For a reason. For a reason.
He could have chose any other
Just
thing
like
because he
peace
said we
means
believe in
Islam
all the
means
true and
peace.
divine
Islam
prophets.
does
Islam
mean
means
peace.
peace.
But you got so many people today, like they come out of the Moorish movement, like the brother said, you got Moors, and then I didn't go too deep, but you also got Aboriginals, you got Indigenous, you got Natives, you got all type of people that will come at you from sideways and scream about how you was giving Islam and you was oppressed and you from America and you an Indian and woo out the bam, and they can't show you no signs of no Arab or no more oppressing you with Islam, but they got this science though. And then you gotta ask them a question. Hold on. Yeah, you gotta ask them a question. Who taught you ain't black? You got all this science. Who taught you ain't black? That's the only thing everybody get from Noble Drawley and Run and won't give him credit for. You ain't black. Then they like, because that's the scratchy moment. He told us that, and that messed everybody up. He didn't give. He said he couldn't wake us all up at one time. We could test something up. Now we waking up. They finding out we indigenous. You don't know what happened to you, and you claiming you indigenous, but you really need to get into Islam because that's where it's at. You running away from Islam, but it's the reason why he gave you Islam. Maybe you need to understand that culture, your hierarchy before Islam came here. I'm gonna give.
Isn't there a particular surah in the Quran where it says that we adopted Islam as our religion, if I'm not mistaken?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Because I'm not a Hafiz with that.
Not either.
But we gonna find it.
Yeah, we gonna find that. Because that
Amen.
sounds familiar.
We
That definitely
adopted
sounds
Islam
familiar.
as our
Like I've read it, that we've adopted Islam. However, also, you know, I went, you know me, I went to look up Muhammad, but instead of giving me Muhammad, it gave me Muhammadan.
That's the word.
It gave me Muhammadan, which it gives you the variance. It says of or relating to Muhammad or Islam, right? But also, and it was first known use. Again, known use was 1681, right? But however, the name Muhammadan means Muhammad means a couple things. It means friend. It means good day.
Comforting.
All of those things. And these are all the things that we find when we practice our fasting. When we practice our fasting in Islam, because the very name Islam means peace.
That's right.
And all of the things that I named from meaning of the name Muhammad is peace. Because your friend is peaceful to you. Your friend is loving to you. So, you know, the thing is that and speaking of the, we have to really understand what we have in our hands. This is power right here, Moors. This is power in our hands. And per chapter 45, instruction 1, it tells us who has the power. It tells us in chapter 45, that's why we have to be careful when we try to contradict what the prophet wrote. When we try to contradict Muhammad. When we try to contradict the teachings of the Koran. Like, it's disheartening. Because again, I have not been in the Moorish Science Temple of America as long as some of these other Moorish Americans have. But, I mean, to study, to know is to be.
Yeah.
That's simple. It's simple. To know is to be.
And Allah says be, and it is.
And it is. So if this was prescribed by Allah, this was a thought of Allah. And it is law. It is indeed law. Fasting is law. It's not a custom.
Right.
It's not. Allah does not make customs. Why? Because it is not truth. Customs will pass away because it is a form of a finite thinking.
Can we look up the word customs?
Sure we can. Great job, student. Great job.
Thank you, sir.
Great
Master teacher.
We'll look up the word
Seriously.
custom. Praise Allah. That's what we should do.
Islam.
Oh, wow. I'm going to read something interesting too at the bottom that just shocked me. Custom. Noun. A usage or practice common to many or to a particular place or class or habitual with an individual. Long established practice considered as unwritten law. Repeated practice. The whole body of usages, practices, conventions that regulate social life. Customs, plural. Duties, tolls, or imposed by the sovereign law of a country on imports or exports. The agency. Establishment or procedure for collecting such customs. A business patronage. Usual habitual patrons, customers. And do you know there is the word, it's a word in here that's highlighted in conjunction with this word. Suicide.
To die for.
Custom.
Customary.
Yeah, like the cause of custom.
But it also goes into consuming. Consumers.
Well,
buying.
They got to
Eating
them customs
into.
of blowing themselves up, and that's
Right.
not Islam.
Yeah.
That's their custom.
But look, caveat emptor. Buyer beware.
Praise Allah.
This why he say, think not of Arabia.
Right.
This why he say, think not of the Romans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because this is a part of customs.
Straighten out your
We-
brothers in the East.
Straighten out your brothers in the East.
Praise Allah.
And we got to straighten ourselves out first.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we got to return to Islam first in order to do that.
Self first.
It is.
Right.
But I was looking at the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. That's the key right there. The last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem them from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. Now I heard that from some other folks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that we're the pioneers, so to speak. We're like pioneers, and it's like we have to get busy.
Yeah, basically.
Islam.
Because now tonight, I think I told you all last week, my family had the conversation on the telephone, the study, and it was supposed to have been Tuesday, and not tonight. And I was like, yo, I already have to go. I can't be on tonight. However, I'm going to still speak with them again and try to pull their heads together. As we all, doing our friend, speaking to our friends and family who will listen. Because it's like tomorrow is not promised to anyone.
Nope. It's not at all.
Like the sister said, we got a mighty work to do.
We got a mighty work. It's
This
a
is
mighty
so
work.
serious.
It's very serious. Praise Allah, Brother Bay.
Going back to that passage in the Quran we was reading about Jesus with the fasting,
Yes.
and him with the tempter and all that. Of course, in the Bible it says him in the Garden of Gethsemane. Now, me coming from a Christian background, I also went to Catholic school. Mother a Sunday school teacher. All his brothers a Baptist, well, he's a apostolic preacher. I always had a problem with that certain passage in the Bible because to me of being of common sense, there's a devil. He's tempting Jesus. But if I'm being tempted, why I can't see the devil? And I always pose that question. I pose that question in school, and I got a Saturday detention for that. because they couldn't give me an answer.
They couldn't give you an
Mr.
answer.
Doyle.
Yeah.
Mr. Doyle.
Yeah.
Mr. Doyle, he never fails. Doyle never fails.
Yeah. Back then it was Brother Doyle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Brother Doyle.
Yeah. And I opposed that to my mom. She thought I was crazy. I said, Mom, doesn't that sound more realistic?
Right.
Because if the devil is tempting you, you should be able to see, hear, or something. But you can't. You
can see when you look at the mirror.
Yeah, she don't understand.
Right,
that
she
part.
don't. Right.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to hit in the face.
Not that one. That's me. I got put out. Don't do that.
And it was just interesting to me. I'm like, Mom, but you know, some stuff you just can't just lay on people like that. Because of course,
Too much.
she's coming from. Of course, I said, Mom, it's not your fault that you taught me that, and I'm glad that you taught me that. Because now I know the difference between. I had the better sense of knowing to maneuver myself between what was real and what wasn't. And now a lot of my younger siblings, a lot of my younger family members are gravitating towards me and kind of leaving that concept alone. And a lot of my older family members are mad at me, but they'll be okay.
Congratulations.
I just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
That passage always resonated with me, and I could never grab that concept of a devil sitting there tempting Jesus. But if he tempts me, why I can't see?
Right, you can't see. Right.
But can I say something, one thing real quick?
When,
Just be real quick. But that's why I like Noble Drew Ali, because he said, or Marcus Garvey, the forebearer or the forerunner. He said, come, invite the people to hear, but let's not talk about religion, let's talk about nationality. And then when they come to the Sunday school, out comes the guidance for nations. And that's when we go through the washing machine. You know what I mean? I'm saying getting all the dirt off our body, you know what I'm saying? Using those tools, the common gavel, the square to knock off the roughness of our life to make it plain. So this is a blessing. So we have to get busy more in Chicago. And since we call this Mecca, you know what I'm saying, let's get busy going into highways and byways, getting our people to bring them here.
I just want to say quickly, when I was 4 years old, my parents started telling me I'm going to Sunday school. Now, I knew I was going to be going to kindergarten. But when they started saying you got to go to Sunday school, I was like, yo, what is Sunday school? What is Sunday school? And so I thought, okay, so maybe like 2 weeks they told me I'm going. Okay, so Sunday came, I'm going, they dressed me. And I thought my parents was going to take me. My two cousins took me to Sunday school. And when they took me down the stairs to the basement, and when I got to the foot of the stairs, this voice came into my ears and said, all they tell you are lies.
Wow.
And so when I got to the threshold, they said, everything they tell you are going to be lies.
Wow.
It was a male voice. And as soon as I walked up in there, I looked to the wall, and there they got the Jesus Christ with the blonde hair. And it was like, yo, that's the first lie. So then the Sunday school teacher, I'm like, wow, lies? And so the Sunday school teacher, I'm telling you the truth.
No, I'm like, wow, that's deep.
She was just, bony lady, like,
European
witchy.
skeleton.
No, she was, melanated. And she says, okay, kids, we got a new student. And she introduces me, and she's like, come over here and have a seat. And she puts this book in front of my face, and it's like these European children in the book,
I remember that book.
And it was like, more lies, more lies. And so, I never went back to Sunday school. I said, my parents were trying to make me go to Sunday school, and I was already feeling weird because they had sent me with my cousins, and I thought my parents were going to take me because they kept talking about it. And then when they start talking about I hear this voice and it tells me these are lies. So ever since I was 4 years old, I started working on uncovering the truth then. Okay? And so so you all know I'm an old lady now, okay? And I understand all of those lies that they told was the truth. It was lies. And it's more to it. But we're in the process of uncovering all of that. And it's layers and layers and layers. And that's what I look at Ramadan, is the layers. Because when you're around people and they're telling these lies, it affects you.
Yes, it does.
How you think, what you do, how you behave, what you believe. And that's what we're fighting against. And with Ramadan, my intention is to clean that aspect. Now, in my practice, I have what is called a Gohanzan. And the Gohanzan, I have an altar in my home. And you're able to chant in front of the Gohanzan and observe your mind. And chant for yourself and others. And that's what I will be doing with Ramadan. Because for Ramadan, for all those who cannot or have a problem with it, we could just pray for the benefits that we receive, that our friends and families will receive the same benefits.
Praise Allah. Yes, indeed. That is absolutely it right there, sister. That is absolutely it. And that's what people should understand. If you feel that you don't need to study it or whatever the case may be, and we, instead of arguing with those people, pray for understanding for them. Because I told Brother Arnell Bay, I said, well, I just pray that that Allah opens their hearts and their minds, and allow their understanding to expand as big as their heart can take.
Praise Allah.
You see, because again, with the back and forth constant, that's why I didn't even really discuss anything of my thoughts or the truth, basically, of Ramadan on social media. Because again, I'm not, that's wasted energy. That's wasted energy. So, I pray just that, like when you said that, sister, that really hit home, because I pray for that. Like, Allah open their hearts and minds, expand their understanding as far as their heart can take. You see what I'm saying? Go into them and make them understand your law, because these are your laws. This is not nothing that, again, as they're spewing around, an Arab custom. Ramadan predates Islam. It predates that. This is, again, time never was when man was not. Time never was when man was not, when mind was not. And from where all things come is the light, from which all things come is the mind, is the spirit. So again, if thought is the cause of all, and no thought of Allah can be circumscribed, that means even the thoughts that you think cannot be circumscribed in any type of way, because you are a thought of Allah. So again, as we close, hopefully there has been some type of connection and understanding to ones who are watching and everybody here today about Ramadan and clearing up some things, and hopefully it will employ you and your spirit will urge you to do more research and take from it what you will. Cut off the 90 uses and ungainly parts and use what's best for you in that particular situation concerning Ramadan. If you want to fast from food, fast from food. If you can't fast from food, try to fast from something else. It'll still all be counted. Islam, praise Allah.